Hello, this is in response to the latest video from the thevinerhyme regarding, well, an awful lot of topics. I'll start with Christian prophecies. First off, he talks about the idea of biblical prophecies being written ahead of time. With regard to Isaiah, that's pretty much irrelevant to the view of Revelation, because Revelation was not in the Dead Sea Scrolls. And basically what I was talking about, I didn't have the term in front of me and I looked it up, the preterist view of Revelation, and many Christians hold this. Basically they actually do hold it as prophecy of the future, but prophecy of the future that has already happened as of 2007. Let's see. This is going to be rather sparse. Regarding Islamic prophecies, the problem is I'm hearing your arguments as to why Islamic prophecies are wrong. If I ask a Muslim, that person will say similar things about Christian prophecies in all likelihood, and at the same time will insist on the accuracy of the Quran in predicting all sorts of things. I did a very, very brief search and found Islamic people claiming that the Quran predicts the moon landing and all kinds of ridiculous things, and people do this all the time with Nostradamus and so on, and with the Bible, I must add, and I find you guilty of the same thing. Basically it starts from a very vague passage, or a somewhat vague passage, and asserts the fulfillment of that passage after the fact. For example, well, it's not really after the fact, but the Revelation claim, people have made many claims as to what the mark of the beast is and so on, and in what fashion the inability to buy and sell will be enforced and so on. And a point I'd like to make here is that the Bible does not explicitly say anything about ships. It does say that the number 666 or 616, some people say, is the more accurate number. Got garbled or something. I don't really understand that argument, but it is out there. But it's not an explicit prophecy, and the only time people asserted it had been fulfilled and actually added meat to the prophecy was after it had been fulfilled. Same with Nostradamus, saying that thing about July of 1999, and some people interpreted it to be John F. Kennedy Jr. being the I don't remember all the details, but something coming from the sky or something, and it was his plane going down. Wow, Nostradamus, yay, good job, man. Let's see. Oh, Jehovah's Witnesses. I forgot to mention Jehovah's Witnesses. It's on here somewhere. Page before here. See, the Jehovah's Witnesses make the same kind of arguments concerning Scripture. They pick and choose Scriptures to show why your form of Christianity is incorrect and why theirs is correct. They're to my mind, they're doing the exact same kinds of things you are. As for their version of the Bible, they make some pretty good arguments as to their form of the Bible being an excellent translation. Perhaps in spite of the number of people working on it and so on. And also some independent scholars have asserted that the Jehovah's Witness Bible is not the New World Translation is if not a perfect translation, among the better Bible translations as far as the Hebrew and Koine Greek are concerned. And I tend to agree with your assessment of the witnesses as cult-like, especially in terms of how if members if members get out of the faith or whatever, how they shun these people and so on, and they kind of live in their own insulated world, basically. However, it would be special pleading to say that that cult-like behavior makes their beliefs wrong. Perhaps people who have beliefs that are correct would treat them in a cult-like fashion, is what I'm trying to say here. Hope that makes sense. Basically, my point with the meteor stuff was, I thought a fairly simple one, but I think I don't think it was clear enough, and that's my fault. I apologize for that. But basically, the point of the meteor thing has to do strictly with Pascal's wager, and the point there is that even if you're convinced that believing a certain proposition is the best course of action, that does not mean that you believe in it. Basically the only place you've gotten is believing that it's a good thing to believe, which is still not the same thing as believing in the proposition itself. Do I make myself clear there yet? I'll go with your Christianity stuff. Assuming that all your assumptions are correct regarding Christianity being the only religion that is even potentially viable. I don't agree with that, as you've seen, I hope. But if I start from that assumption that it's either Christianity or nothing at all that's potentially viable, I will agree with you that belief in Christianity is the best possible choice to make. The problem is, though, that believing that it's the best possible choice is not the same thing as believing in the proposition itself. There's still a leap that has to be made, and that leap, well, really involves the individual standards. And in my case, I would require some evidence, and it would have to be some pretty fantastic evidence, considering how fantastic the claims themselves are. Of course, I have all those other problems with Pascal's wager, but this is just an additional side to that.